Hey guys, today we're doing a quick mental health video. It's going to be a video about borderline personality disorder and my personal theories on why they have issues with relationships being rocky. People that have BPD, they go through love-hate cycles with friends, family, romantic partners, which means their thinking can change. It can go from really valuing a family member, friend, girlfriend, to really devaluing them once often it's a trigger that triggers that. And so they tend to have black and white thinking where they'll say, "Oh, Jimmy across the street, he's all good." And but then if they feel triggered by that person or something about that person, they'll trigger to that person's all bad. So they tend to kind of put people in all good or all bad. So that's why often when they're going through those devalue cycles, they'll just stop seeing the person, stop communicating with the person, because in their mind they've convinced themselves that the person's all bad and unworthy of their attention. So part of therapy for BPD is, I believe, the cognitive behavior therapy, where you're also trying to teach the borderline person that people are mostly, a shade of gray, which means shades of gray, which basically means they're not all bad and they're not all good, but people are good and bad mixed together. They're evil, but yes, they're a lot of good too. There's a lot of good in the person. Everybody has an evil side. I've said that before. It's kind of true. Everybody has a loving side. I mean, I was friends with someone that was an actual psychopath, and he actually ended up passing away, but he had a loving side, he had a caring side, he had a sweet side. He could be a great friend, you know what I mean? He could be a very caring soul. He'd probably be the one rescuing your ass if you got, if someone, you're out on the street and someone attacked you, he'd be the guy coming to your rescue, and he's the psychopath. You see what I'm saying? So everybody, no matter who you are, I don't care if you're a fucking serial killer, there's probably some good in you, some good in there somewhere, So don't become a serial killer, you know. It's okay to watch those shows and kind of get in that fantasy mode, but I always tell people it's okay to think things, just don't let it go out into action. But anyway, guys, we're going back to the BPD issue. We tend to get off on tangents on this channel, but basically, my theories of why these borderline individuals have such a hard time attaching to their relationships, like let's say they're trying to date somebody, they go into it with right off the bat with a negative mindset of a non-trusting attitude. And that's because when a lot of these individuals, when they were younger, experienced a lot of child abuse. I even experienced some myself. My dad would smack me and my family around. I witnessed him being violent towards my mom. And so they learned to have a non-trusting attitude towards the individual. Usually it's the abuser in their childhood. So in my case, it would have been my dad. So when I meet any new stranger, I'm going to say, geez, I don't know if I can trust that person. And that's what's going through the minds of these women when they're dating these men is I need to put this wall up, because when I was younger, dad was smacking me around, or dad was throwing me in the corner, or dad was locking me in my room. And so, Jimmy, the new guy I'm trying to date, I got to put up this wall of protection because, daddy hurt me. So how can I trust this? Somebody in my family's hurting me. How can I trust somebody that's not even family, right? What will this person do? So that's what's happening with these BPD individuals when they try to date people is because of that non-attachment style. They literally have a style of non-attachment, and that's because they learned as a young child that they can't trust that object other, which is normally the abuser in their childhood. So if you're dating a BPD woman who was abused as a child and has a very poor relationship with her father, or never had a relationship with her father, then you're most likely running into an attachment issue with her, which is likely more than likely gonna end up as the result of ruining your relationship because her style is non-attachment. I mean, I this is why I can't make things work with the girl I love because she has a style of non-attachment. She had a lot of things going on when she was younger. I don't need to get into a lot of her personal business, and I don't ever mention her name publicly or anything. But she had a bad relationship with her father, and to this day still has a bad relationship to the father. Even as an adult, she would go to the father and ask for help, and he would turn her away and not give her help. As you know, when she was a little kid, he was the one out of control and probably beating on people and doing crazy shit, and mom's beating on people doing crazy shit. So my friend, the BPD person, don't need to mention her name, but she learned as a child, holy shit, look at this chaos. Daddy's going crazy, beating mom, beating me. Mommy's going crazy, doing this, doing that. So as a young child, she learned I can't trust a human. I can't trust daddy. I can't trust mommy. I can't trust these individuals. So then, as an older person, us, the people dating them, we need to take a step back and breathe and say, you know what? I'm not going to be angry at my partner who I'm dating. I'm not going to be angry at them if they end the relationship because this is a person that has experienced real trauma. You know, like somebody like myself, it took me a long time to realize that I should just trust people until they give me a reason not to for the most part. Like for example, as a young kid, I was smacked around by my dad. So now if I'm around a stranger, I can be a little, a little bit on guard, because of the exact same dynamics I mentioned. Um, but it's weird for me because I had a healthy attachment with my mother, so I'm more prone to attach. So me having that healthy relationship with my mom, for example, with my BPD ex, don't need to mention name, but I had a healthy attachment. So my style with the BPD girlfriend was I want to attach because I had such a great relationship with mommy, right? So that's what's going on psychologically on a psychological level is that I've literally been trained to love. I loved mommy. I can love this new partner. My style was attachment with the female, right? Not so much with my dad because he was very abusive. So you're probably going to see that wall with me with men. With that wall would be up because of the child abuse that I experienced. Kind of gave me that standoffish, right? But now I've learned, through my own thinking that I really need to just give people a chance until they give me a reason not to. I mean, one example I use is you could get some dude right out of prison, tattoos all over his body, and literally the nicest guy in the world. So you can't judge a book by its cover. You know what I'm saying? Because there's also people out there that look like great individuals, CEOs of company doing really bad things. So looks are nothing. It's really what's on the inside of a person, right? That makes them a good person or a bad person. But so that's what's going on with the BPD relationships, guys, and why BPD relationships are so chaotic. Why that love hate cycle. You know, like I say, you try to love them too much, they pull back because you're triggering that relational fear. They don't feel like they can attach to the other partner because they don't feel safe. If daddy was beating the crap out of them when they were 9 years old in their room, how do you think they're going to feel around you, a stranger they're dating, when they were trained as a child to fear men, trained as a child to be on guard? Oh, when's daddy going to hit me next? You know, these are real issues, guys, that we really fail to acknowledge. Even myself, I mean, I've gone through a whole rainbow of emotions of loss with my BPD um, friend, ex girlfriend, whatever you want to call her. Rainbows of emotions where I became angry, sometimes even angry at her, which wasn't fair because a lot of it is the mental health stuff that drives the behavior. Anxiety drives behavior. It can be delusional mindset resulting in anxiety, resulting in behavior. You see what I'm saying? So that's what happens with the BPD individual is they get sometimes even triggered into psychosis. People that are BPD can have psychosis when they're triggered, really high stress triggered, and then they start getting really like PTSD delusional as well. And that will cause them to do really reactive behaviors. Like, for example, let's say they're sleeping on your couch. They start getting paranoid that someone's going to break in their car, and you wake up tomorrow and they've moved the fuck out because they're so convinced that someone's going to fuck their car up that they just move the fuck out. That's an example of something somebody BPD would do, because they let those delusions drive anxiety, and then that anxiety pushes the behavior out. You see what I'm saying? So that's what you get with a BPD person, is a very impulsive thought process. You get that thought and then boom, you're gone. That's the person jumping on a bus going to California tomorrow just because they got it in their head. You know what I mean? Another red flag, another little checkpoint red flag is, I always joke around about it. I think the ladies with a lot of the colored hair are the BPD women, and I joke about it. It's kind of a joke. So next time you're out in the town, you see all the women with the colored hair, you might say, maybe that girl's BPD. And it is kind of a joke. But anyway, guys, I hope that's the easiest way for me to sum up this video, is that BPD relationship problems, breakups, dynamics are all a result of that childhood attachment versus non-attachment mindset that they grew into as an adult, of I can trust the person in front of me, or I can't trust the person in front of me. And oftentimes, because of child abuse, because of neglect that the BPD person experienced, as an adult, they have an anti-trusting attitude. They have a I don't need anyone attitude. They have a you stay over there attitude. They have a that person's dangerous attitude. They see you as a threat. Even if you're dating them, they may see you as a threat. Is this person going to hurt me? Is what they're thinking on the inside. So we, as the person dating them, need to step back and realize, whoa, whoa, whoa. This is somebody that has a mental health diagnosis. Borderline personality is a major, major mental health diagnosis. And you add in some delusional psychosis in there, and it's 10 times worse. And I've seen that with my own eyes. So anyway, guys, if you're the partner of someone with BPD, the most important thing to realize is to not take their behavior personally, because it is BPD that drives their behavior. They get anxious about something, then they've moved out because they convinced themselves that mental illness has convinced them that they need to move the fuck out. You see what I'm saying? So don't be so quick to be angry with them, because it is a mental illness. I hear often what BPD women, men want. A lot of times they'll say, I just want to be the person's friend. And that's because that's less scary for them. There's no attachment going on. Remember, they have issues with attachment. I even have heard a borderline friend say to me recently that relationships trigger her. Basically what she's saying is being commingled with another human is what triggers her. Why is she saying that? Because she doesn't trust him, because based on her growing up of incredible family dynamics, child abuse, stress, triggering, PTSD. These are all things that told her, I can't trust the human being in front of me. So she approaches life as almost a pair of negative sunglasses on that really need to be adapted, and go back to the therapy of saying that, the person in front of you ain't all evil, or they aren't all good, but they're good and bad mixed together. And if you can get that through the BPD person's mindset and start to make them realize that they are putting people in good or bad categories, and that that's not fair to the other people, that would be a little bit of growth. But guys, hopefully this video has been helpful on understanding why BPD women and men have a hard time with relationships. It's because of those attachment issues, guys. Attachment versus non-attachment. Anyway, if you like this mental health video, you can subscribe. Until next time, I hope you guys have a wonderful day, and keep rocking in the free world. See you guys.